Scripture reading? I don't know. We can do it. You'll open it up to yourself. Deuteronomy 31. Go over there, and we'll find our text starting in verse number 7. This morning we learned that the Lord is with you. It matters not if you want Him there or not. He's there. Whether you appreciate it or not, He's there. Whether you can feel Him or not, He's there. The Lord is with you. Tonight, so you be with the Lord. In the book of Numbers, chapter 31, or Exodus 31, Moses had been up on Mount Sinai. God gave him the law, wrote it with his own finger on stone tablets. And apparently, as he had finished writing that, Moses, get down. The people have forsaken me. You see, in chapter 19, before he went up on the mountain, the Lord from the top of Mount Sinai had yelled the Ten Commandments. So they knew them. But while Moses was there, they were worshiping a golden calf. God said, Moses, get down there. See what they're doing. When he came down, of course, he was angry. Righteous indignation. For the worship of that golden calf was not only wrong because it was a calf, but apparently it had led them in their worship to all kinds of debauchery associated with worshiping that calf. He broke the tablets. God said, Moses, when you get down there, just get out of the way. I'm going to kill every one of them. And I'm going to start over with you. Moses said, wait a minute, Lord. Let's don't do that. Come on. Just take my name out of the book of life if that's what you're going to do. So God relented from what he had said. And so Moses came down off that mountain. And he stood with Joshua, his right-hand man. And he said to the people, if you are on the Lord's side, come over to me. I find it interesting that in the text, the only people who went over to Moses were the Levites. I don't know what the people did. Why didn't any of them get up and stand with Moses? I don't know. But per God's instruction, each of those Levites took a sword and went to the tent of the people and executed the Lord's judgment on them, killing them. Now, about 3,000 people lost their lives. I have to believe that these were targeted, if you will, by God. I don't think it was the decision of those Levites just randomly to kill. But apparently, these people were judged by God to be the prime offenders, and they suffered. All who are on the Lord's side, come over here. Debbie Parsons told me about an event that happened. I had read about it, but today I read the text. There was a call to come over to the Lord's side, issued publicly. Now, I don't agree with the stance from which this man came. I have some real issues with his religious background, but I have no issues with his moral stance. As Harrison Butker stood and made one of the most incredible public calls to morality that I've ever read. And most everything he said in a moral context, you would agree with. I also confirmed another story. I look for these kinds of things just as indications whether our culture might be changing. He was attacked from all kinds of sides. But the people, he was the kicker, is the kicker for Kansas City Chiefs. And after that speech, and after the criticism, in support of what he said, his jersey at the NFL shop sold more than any other jersey in football. I like to think that he made a call to the moral side, and people stood with him. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to buy a jersey. I don't even care for the Chiefs. But I'm also going to contact him somehow. It was incredible. Tonight, the Lord is on your side. Now be on the Lord's side. As we're thinking about those who will be graduating, the graduation mindset, quickly look at Deuteronomy 31. Let's look at this text and see what happened in this situation as they were about to go into the promised land and Moses was giving them some final instructions. And may these be instructions to our graduates, high school and college. May they be instructions to the families of those who are graduating. May they be instructions to those of us who honor them and their graduation, because we too, one day, will graduate. Then Moses called Joshua and said to him in the sight of all Israel, number one, be on the Lord's side. Be with the Lord. Leaders, notice what he said. Be strong Don't be weak. Don't back down. Be strong. And of good courage. Stand up and face the enemy. Face the opposers. Leaders, be with the Lord. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, that is, these people. You must go with them, that is, this people, to the land. Leaders, be strong, be courageous, be with the people. If you are a shepherd, shepherd the people. If you are a deacon, be with the people that help you work. If you are a Bible class teacher, be strong, be courageous. Be with them. And do it, be convinced. Notice what Moses said to Joshua. You must go with this people to the land which the Lord has sworn to their fathers to give them. God said, you shall cause them to inherit it. Leaders, be with the Lord, because the Lord keeps His promises all the time. Do not, or back verse 8. And the Lord, He is the one who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. Do not fear nor be dismayed. The Lord will always be there. The first thing that people who are graduating, but our emphasis here, they need to know that they have leaders who are with the Lord, who are strong, courageous, with them, and convinced that the Lord keeps His promises every time, and that the Lord will prepare the way ahead. He will never leave you. Number 2, people, be with the Lord. Be a follower. Follow your leaders. Follow the shepherds. If they are leading, follow them. Follow your parents. Follow senior Christians who have done it for so long. Follow anyone who leads for the Lord and leads you to the Lord. Follow them. Be a follower. Verse 9. So Moses wrote this law and delivered it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to all the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, at the appointed time, in the year of release, at the Feast of Tabernacles, when all Israel comes to appear before the Lord your God in the place which He chooses, be with the Lord. Be present with the Lord. They had appointed times to be with the Lord in the presence and in worship. So do we. That was one of the things that Harrison said in his speech. Don't forsake the time to be there in worship. You need to be and make sure that you are in worship. I was impressed, even though I would have disagreements, of course, with his background and his stance, but he said the same thing that I have said. Don't let money make your decision where you're going to live. Make it be, how best can I serve the Lord? How best can I be with the Lord? How best can I be in the presence of the Lord? If the Lord's people are not where you're thinking about moving, don't move there. You need to be with the Lord and with His people. Be present. Number 3, read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Be in the word of the Lord. If you're going to be with the Lord, you have to be in His word. I appreciate what Chris did in giving us continual reminders. Here's a passage you can read. Let's all read together. It's a good thing. I appreciate Danny's working on putting Bible correspondence, study materials on our website that you can study, we can study and be graded online and know and learn great things. Be in the Word. When you're going off to college, don't be like so many and sleep in the dorm room. Get up. Be in Bible class. Be in worship. Parents, train them to do that. Be in the Word. Gather the people together, men and women and little ones, and the stranger who is within your gates, that they may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God. Be with the Lord. Be in fear of Him. People don't fear God anymore. I'm afraid sometimes we don't either. I think sometimes I don't either. Fear the Lord. He means business. But finally, be a speaker for the Lord. Carefully observe all the words of the law, that their children who have not known it may hear and learn to fear the Lord your God as long as you live in the land which you cross the Jordan to possess. Be a speaker for the Lord. This is what it means to be with the Lord, people. All of us, graduates or no, but certainly leaders, be with the Lord. People, be with the Lord. Third, be with the Lord so you can be with the Lord. Verse 14. The Lord said to Moses, behold, the days approach when you must die. Be with the Lord here, so you can be with the Lord there. That's the message that Moses gave to these people, and it's the message that we should give ourselves. Traditionally, we've given opportunity for graduates to submit a verse. And I try to take those verses and weave them in. Here it is. To be with the Lord so that you can be with the Lord. The first one from Gavin. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. To be with the Lord, you better wait on the Lord. I'm afraid sometimes we like to get ahead of the Lord because we want to do it our way. Sometimes we run opposite of the Lord, and He's over there and we're over here. Wait on the Lord. If you want to be with the Lord, you got to wait on the Lord. And from Kaylee, 2 Corinthians chapter 10. She gave me verse 5. I'm going to verse 4 for context. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down every argument and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Notice, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. You want to be with the Lord? Then to be with the Lord here means to allow yourself to be captured by the Lord. So what do these verses tell us about being with the Lord? Wait on Him so He can capture you. And when we wait, and when He captures us, we become powerful people who can handle anything that comes our way, who can stand against any force, who can create in our world a great place for people to live. The Lord is with you. So be with the Lord. Leaders, people, anybody who wants to be with the Lord in eternity. With those thoughts in mind, are you with the Lord tonight? Imagine this. Imagine if Jesus were to come here now and stand up on our stage and do exactly what Moses did. Whoever is on the Lord's side, come over here to me. How many of us would get up? If you've not been immersed into Jesus Christ. And you get up and you stand there, He's going to say, so, are you now ready to come into the family and be immersed? Because just standing there doesn't make you the Lord's side. Will He look at you and say, you're standing here, but I know there are things right now that are standing between me and you. You ready to fix it? The invitation song is a lot like Moses or Jesus saying, who is on the Lord's side. Can we help you tonight? Let's stand and sing together.